Hey guys, welcome back. Today I'm gonna give you guys some tips for late summer lawn care. Stick around. And I'm not gonna give you a schedule or anything like that because most of us are struggling with different things and with forces beyond our knowledge. You know, we got weather, we got drought here, we got drought, heat waves. Like today is supposed to be over 100 degrees, which is pretty much unheard of it in New England. You know, it's only been a couple times that this happened. And most of us homeowners with very little to no training and fertilizing, chemicals, soil types, but understanding why and how we do certain things will assure a greater chance of success. There are a few facts about soil that should be understood. Poor soil can always be improved by means of fertilizing, aeration, liming. All soils will become compact. Even sandy soils, they'll become hard, and pretty much anything will just run off the surface. Even water, you know, it doesn't penetrate into the soil. And if you plant new grass seeds into a compact soil, you have to understand that the roots are going to be very tender and it's going to be very hard for them to penetrate the soil. Oxygen won't penetrate the soil either, resulting in pretty much a starvation. That, in my opinion, is why many lawns are in poor condition. After that, weeds will start popping up everywhere in your lawn, crowning it. That's because weeds, unlike lawns and plants and other things, they love hard, compact soil. So let's just change the condition of the soil and the lawn will take over the weeds. It's pretty simple. And you know, you might be asking yourself, Andre, how can I improve my soil? Aeration, and let me explain why. The soil plugs or the cores, which are brought up to the surface by aerifying, they actually help top dressing your lawn. And in between wetting and drying, inside that little hole, you know, the little almost spooned out hole, it's one of nature's best ways of creating a better physical soil condition, I guess. The air is going to circulate there better and it's going to stimulate the tiny little helpers. And I'm talking about bacteria, microorganisms, which by their growth and that they improve the soil in many ways. Oxygen supply into the soil also stimulates root growth and helps the roots absorb more nutrients. And the other thing we can do also is bugs. Add some more lime. Up north here, or in the humid, high rainfall areas in the country, the soil tends to become acid. The lime corrects that, makes the nutrients more available to the plant and produce more, how can we call that, a more mellow, maybe, soil condition. And the lime will also granulate the soil, which lets them breathe and improve them for most plants. Well, except your acid-loving plants like, you know, tomatoes, cucumbers, but this is for another channel. We might choose in between, I believe, two types of lime. The safest all around, in my opinion, and the only one I use is the limestone, ground limestone. And now they have fast acting, which still, I think it will probably take about 2 to 3 months to fully get in there, which is gonna lead me to my next tip. Fall is a very good time to apply ground limestone. And rule of the thumb, this rule here, And I believe a 80-pound bag will cover around 1,000 square feet. And you really don't want to repeat that too much. You know, that's my other tip for you guys, will be to have a soil test. I usually do one early in the spring and late in the fall, before I apply my lime the last time. And then I'll test it again in the spring, so that way there I know how my soil is, and it helps. It does help. It'll be the best, whatever it was, 120 bucks that you ever spend. Because, you know, if you use too much lime, and I see this every year at the big box store, you know, people are buying lime, and the same people buy it again next year, again, every year, keep doing that. It's just as bad as not using enough. Aerifying before liming is recommended, so that the improvement of the soil can be made in depth instead of just left in the surface. Lime moves downward in the soil very, very slowly. The next step towards a good lawn will be to improve the nutrient supply. Most lawns are in poor condition because they are starved. Well-fed grass will produce deeper, heavier roots, which is another nature way of soil conditioning, of aeration. Just think of it, you know, your roots will be deeper. That thing has to dig through the ground, and air's gonna get in there, water. So if you have either a compact clay soil or crusted sandy soil, the fertilizer has a tendency to sit on top of it, which it has a best chance to wash away, get blown away, and the least chance of getting down deeply into the soil where the roots can't get it. By aerifying, it opens the soil so the fertilizer can reach the roots, and it's a standard practice in most golf courses or, you know, athletic fields, and that's why they do it. It's less invasive, and you get a better result. You know, another way to aerify your soil would be to just kill everything, add whatever compost to it, come in and just mix everything up and plant your grass. But guess what? In 3-4 years, you're gonna have to redo that. So it just makes sense to aerate your soil. You know, you might be asking also, well, what kind of fertilizer should I use also? You know, that question is going to be asked all over the country. There is understandable confusion because there's so many kinds available. That's why a soil test is important. And a good rule of thumb is to apply a pound of nitrogen, a pound on the ground of nitrogen per 1,000 square feet. And you can figure this out yourself too. Let's just use an example. Let's take let's say 10-6-4 fertilizer. The first figure is going to be nitrogen. Duh. So 100 divided by 10 equals 10. So it takes 10 pounds of that 10-6-4 to yield 1 pound of nitrogen on the ground. Is it confusing? Well, you'll get it. I did, so can you. And you might be saying, oh, Andre, I fertilize my lawn every year. I use a 5-10-5. And I'm just telling you, your lawn is suffering from nitrogen starvation. And it's overdosing in phosphorus, the middle one. And the remedy for that will be just to look for straight nitrogen. And do that for a couple of years. Because phosphorus will be, I believe it's the longest one that linger on the soil. And mine was super high, man. It was scary. So that's why last year I had a tough time. The lawn would just not grow. I put fertilizer down, I aerated, I did water it, I had the rain barrels, but it just wouldn't grow. It was weird. It was green, but it wouldn't spread. You got to think about, you know, that if your lawn is starving the individual grass plant has to compete for available nutrients, and it's gonna compete, you know, like with the big trees and plants and bushes, and it's not fair, you know, just it's not fair. Compete for everything: nutrients, sunlight, water. I want to talk a little bit about the fall seeding and reseeding, but you know, if you do these things, you know, you start early on the spring and, you know, do your soil test and whatnot, I guarantee you by fall you're gonna have to reseed less parts of your lawn. In many cases, and this is where I go back to where I was talking before, your lawn can be improved by just working the soil and improving your soil. You know, it'll help your lawn grow, and it's gonna be in the long run cheaper. In the long run, it'll be cheaper than reseeding. We all know what seeds cost. I mean, I'm not bashing anybody, you know. Labor rates are very high, and you know, 120, 100, and you don't want to go to, you know, again, I don't want to bash the big box store, but if you're gonna reseed it, you gotta buy good seeds, and that's not cheap. So in the long run, work in your soil, change your soil condition, you know, do all those things, you're gonna have a better outcome. But if you feel like you still need to reseed, aerifying or aeration is very beneficial for that. The seeds will lodge into those loosened soil cavities, and it's in the best possible position to germinate. Frequent mowing, you know, you have to get that out of your head. You know, I'm just gonna mow short once a week and then I'll just have to do it again in 10 days. It's not good. You know, it's good. You know, mowing your lawn is essential. I do it twice a week, and I also did what you guys did, you know, go super short so I don't have to do it for another 15 days. Hey, summertime, I didn't have to mow my lawn the whole summer. It was awesome. No, it wasn't. I was just creating more problems for myself. And that's it for today, guys. I hope you found this video informative, and don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. I hope you guys have a great week, and we'll see you next time. Bye.